Spanish conquistadors conquered the Aztec and Inca empires. They defeated armored knights across Europe. Then they met Filipino warriors with Kampilan swords, and Spanish soldiers rode home in terror. Spanish reports called Filipinos fierce as Turks. This is the weapon that made the world's most powerful empire afraid. The Kampilan is a longsword, 3 to 5 feet of high carbon steel. Single-edged blade with a slight curve for devastating slashing power. A distinctive split-end pommel carved to look like a creature's mouth. Two-handed grip. Blade wider at the tip to concentrate cutting force. Pre-colonial Filipino warriors across the Visayas and Mindanao carry this weapon for centuries before Spain arrives in 1521. Visayan warriors wield it. Moro fighters master it. It's not just a sword, it's a tradition, a martial art, a symbol of warrior culture. When Spanish conquistadors first encounter the Kampilan, they expect primitive weapons, wooden clubs, stone axes, maybe bronze if they're lucky. What they find shocks them. Steel that cuts through Spanish armor, bladesmithing that rivals anything in Europe, warriors skilled enough to decapitate armored soldiers in single strokes. Spain has conquered half the world. The Kampilan makes them afraid. The blade runs 36 to 60 inches long, longer than any Spanish sword. The single edge delivers all cutting power to one devastating line. The slight curve adds slashing force. The split pommel isn't decoration, it's a secondary weapon. Strike with the blade, smash with the pommel. Both ends kill. The two-handed grip generates massive force. The blade's width increases toward the tip. This concentrates weight at the cutting point. When a Kampilan strikes, it doesn't just cut, it cleaves. Pre-colonial Filipino smiths forge high-carbon steel using folding techniques. They heat, hammer, and fold the metal repeatedly. This creates layered steel that's flexible but incredibly strong. The quality rivals Japanese katana steel. Some Kampilans show wave patterns like Damascus steel. Spanish metallurgists examine captured Kampilans and can't believe what they're seeing. This level of craftsmanship isn't supposed to exist outside Europe and the Middle East, but here it is, in islands Spain thought were filled with savages. The Kampilan is wielded with both hands for maximum cutting power. The combat style emphasizes high strikes targeting the head and neck. The long reach keeps Spanish swordsmen at distance. European swords are 30 to 36 inches. The Kampilan gives Filipino warriors a 6 to 24-inch advantage in reach. That reach difference is everything. Spanish soldiers can't get close enough to strike without entering Kampilan range first. And when the Kampilan strikes, Spanish soldiers die. Decapitation is common. Skull cleaving is routine. Spanish reports describe heads cut clean off in single strokes, arms severed, torsos split from shoulder to hip. Antonio Pigafetta, Magellan's chronicler, witnesses Kampilan combat at the Battle of Mactan in 1521. He writes that Filipino lances and swords could pierce armor and shield. Later Spanish reports are even more explicit. Their swords cut through our chainmail. They wield two-handed swords that split helmets. We saw men beheaded with one blow. The comparison to Turks isn't casual. Ottoman Turks are Spain's greatest enemy in the 1500s and 1600s. Spanish soldiers fear Turkish scimitars and kilage swords. Those weapons are legendary for cutting power. When Spanish forces encounter Filipino warriors, they feel the same fear. A Spanish report from the 1600s states, "These Moros fight as fiercely as Turks, with swords as deadly." This is the highest compliment Spanish soldiers can give an enemy. They're saying, these warriors match the Ottoman Empire, the superpower that nearly conquered Europe. Spanish armor fails against the Kampilan. Spanish conquistadors wear steel breastplates and chainmail that stop European swords. The Kampilan's length and weight generate enough force to cut through steel. Heavy strikes from skilled warriors punch through armor that's supposed to be impenetrable. Plus, the Philippines is tropical. Heavy armor in jungle heat causes exhaustion within hours. Spanish soldiers report removing armor just to survive the climate. Then the Kampilan becomes even more lethal. Unarmored Spanish troops die in seconds against Kampilan users. Filipino warriors train from childhood with the Kampilan. It's integrated into Kali and Eskrima martial arts systems. This isn't just strength. Technique matters. Kampilan fighters aim for unarmored spots: neck, inner thighs, arms, behind the knees. If the opponent wears a helmet, strike the shoulders or legs, disable, then kill. Spanish conquistadors conquer civilizations across 2 continents. They're not ready for this level of martial skill. European sword fighting emphasizes thrusting. The Kampilan emphasizes cutting. Different philosophy, different techniques. Spanish training doesn't prepare them. The Kampilan also serves as an execution weapon. Captured enemies are beheaded with a single Kampilan stroke. This is psychological warfare. Spanish soldiers witness these executions and write home about warriors who take heads as trophies. It terrifies future waves of conquistadors. Reputation becomes a weapon itself. Even after firearms arrive, Filipinos continue using the Kampilan. Spanish introduced muskets in the 1600s. Kampilan users adapt. They close distance before shooters can reload. One shot, then hand-to-hand combat. The Kampilan dominates close quarters. The weapon remains in use through the Philippine-American War from 1899 to 1913. American soldiers report Moro warriors charging with Kampilans. The Moro juramentado attacks become legendary. Warriors take religious oaths, charge American positions with Kampilans, and fight until death. American soldiers discover that .38 caliber bullets don't reliably stop charging Kampilan users. A warrior struck by 38 rounds can keep running and swinging for crucial seconds, long enough to kill. This leads directly to development of the .45 caliber pistol. The Kampilan forces America to redesign its sidearm. The Kampilan proves pre-colonial Filipinos had sophisticated metallurgy. They forged steel that matched or exceeded Spanish quality. They developed martial arts systems refined enough to defeat armored conquistadors in combat. They created weapons that European soldiers feared. When Spanish called Filipinos fiercest Turks, they weren't using hyperbole. They were admitting, these warriors match our greatest enemies. The Ottoman Empire nearly conquered Europe. Filipino warriors with Kampilans created the same terror in Spanish troops. The Kampilan becomes a symbol of Filipino resistance. It kills Ferdinand Magellan at Mactan. It kills thousands of Spanish soldiers over 333 years. It kills American soldiers 400 years after it first spills Spanish blood. One weapon, 5 centuries of resistance. Proof that Filipino warriors never needed saving from anyone. The Kampilan was just one Filipino weapon that shocked colonizers. Want to know about the Chris dagger and why it terrified Spanish doctors? Hit subscribe for the next video on weapons Spain couldn't stop.